Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari. You're here, doctor, and I'm really excited about today's show. Welcome. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, I am here each and every week right here in the WDI studios and iHeartRadio. Hope you're having a blessed and wonderful, exciting day. It is a gorgeous day today here in my city. I hope it is the same in yours, wherever you're listening from. Because with the iHeartRadio app, you can tune in from all over the world. And I think my national and international, as well as my local friends who tune in each and every week to hear me talk about hair. And I'm really excited about today's show. It's going to be a great show. We're going to talk about Kelly Rolland. Yeah, that's her name. You guys remember her. She was like the second lead singer with Destiny Child. Yeah, you remember her. We're going to talk about her and her hair. We're also going to talk about sulfates because, hey, sulfates, that's the big deal. We're still... the jury is still out with some folks about sulfate and that whether they should just no poo or should they have sulfate-free shampoos. And what are those things? What are the dangers? Are there any dangers? And what should we look for? And if you have to have it, what should we do? Wow, questions upon questions upon questions. And this is like something I thought might perhaps not, because so many people are still asking about it. Okay, so the first thing I like to do is and those of you who are tuning in from the radio, you won't be able to see me, but you can go to my YouTube page, Lisa Akbari, my YouTube page, and just type in Lisa, Lisa Akbari, and you can see me doing some wonderful things to my hair. So I always like to start with my hair, and because I want you to know how versatile, how flexible, how super easy our hair is and to work with. So I have my headband on, and I like this type of headband because this headband allows me, it's a kind of a stretchy, for those of you who can't see it, it's a stretchy headband, but it has like nylon thread, and it has all these little holes in it. So it allows you to, your scalp, like if you sweat or you're working out, you can use it. Now this is one of my wider ones. There's one that's a little bit wider than that. And then I have the smaller ones. And then I have what I'm using as, this is sometimes used as a headband, but it's a great for a scrunchie. And it's like a nylon, and it has this little nylon stretch piece instead of that little metal piece that sometimes you have on there. You don't want that. And so it's pretty cool, and I use that to pull my hair back. And then after that, what I will generally do is it allows me to stretch my hair. I will pull my hair loose straight out on the sides, the right and left, and then I bring it down. And then I do something I call French lace, and so I'm pulling it on the right and left, over the right and left ear. And that's just where I separate the curls, because our natural hair, if you have natural hair, and this is me with natural hair, our natural hair tends to visit the strands beside it. That's a nice way to put it. Our natural hair tends to go, the hair on the right side of the barn moves over to the hair on the left side of the barn, and then we can get our tangles. So we take our fingers through and we're separating. We don't want to do any pulling, because when you pull, you create those microscopic tears. So now I have my stretch our fro, so we can get back to the show. I just always like to show you guys that this is not hard. Like people will look at my hair. Some folks I'll pass on the street or in my institute, and they'll say, well, how do you get your hair to do that? Your hair is gorgeous. My hair is gorgeous because I love my hair into place. I don't bully my hair into place. You guys know what I mean. I don't twist it down and leave it up for a week. I don't weave it down and leave it up for several weeks. I basically just love it into place. At night before bed, and you know my regimen, you've heard it before. At night before bed, I basically will twist using one of my leave-in conditioners. Generally with my hair, the health of my hair now, I can just use my hair vitamin. And then after I use my hair vitamin, I twist about 6 twists, 8 sometimes, and I tuck them. And then I take my fingers and I go underneath the area, the base of the twist, to make sure when I sleep and turn my head, it's not pulling my hairline on any part of the perimeter, whether it's in the back of the head or the front of the head or where it is. And that's what I do. And then when I get up in the morning, I will take my hair out of the twist and I pull them back and I put it in a scrunchie. But what I do to stretch my fro, if I want to stretch it, I put a little I put a moisturizer. I part it and I go from ear to ear, front to back, and I just part the fro. I part it on each layer. Okay, and that really does make things a lot better for me. Because if I don't do that, then what'll happen? I'll end up with my fro being smaller. But if I want to stretch it out, and then I put this scrunchie or anything that is for hair friendly, and I put it on, and then I go down, put my makeup on and take it down, and I'm done. It's really easy. So it just depends on the mood I'm in. Okay, guys, excited about the show. We're going to get right to it. Today, we're going to talk about, and we have Michelle buzzing in and out. I don't think she's really available. She's at work. Such dedication. We want to thank Michelle for tuning in. Let's unmute her because I was getting all of her work background noise. And so Michelle is here today, and she is going to, let's see if I can get that. Okay, hold on, Michelle. Let me just bring you to the screen. Okay. All right, so we're just going to, okay, I think she's listening. Unmuted. Okay, so hi, Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, I will do this. If you just kind of hang in there, and I know you're busy at work at your desk, and if you want to ask a question or have a comment, then you're welcome to do so. I would appreciate it. But we're talking about sulfates today and the dangers, or if there are any dangers. We're also talking about Kim Rolland and her hair. And so let's just get, okay, there we go. All right, so let's just get to our topic today. So we have Michelle on standby, and then my chat room, guys. As you know, my chat room is open, and it's open for you to chat with me and just let me know what's on your mind. Tell me what you're thinking, and if you have any questions for me, I'm totally ready to answer those. So let's make sure I have that nearby so we can take a look at your questions. And then we're going to get started. I'm just going to make sure I have everything set up here. Here we go. All right, so, and folks out there online, if you're listening on the radio, welcome to the show. You can chat with me on my YouTube page, Lisa Akbari, and I will be more than happy to chat with you. All right, this is exciting. I'm very excited about today's show. Okay, so and I just want to say hello to let's get the sound out here. Let's say my cyber family. More than happy to chat with you. There we go. All right. I'm very excited about today's show. Okay, so here we go. Let's say hello to my. Okay, let's make sure that we're getting some little bit of background. Let's see if we can get there we go. We've muted them out. All right, so let's get started, guys. We're going to get started with talking about Kim. Is it Kelly? Kelly Rolland. Again, you guys remember Kelly Rolland. She was that star with Destiny Child. She was like that second lead singer, and she was pretty cool. She did a lot. I mean, she's been around she's an American singer. I mean, she's a songwriter. She's an actress, television personality. I mean, she's done a lot, and she really rose to fame back in the 90s. 1990s, when she was as I said earlier, she was that second lead singer to Destiny's Child. Remember Destiny Child? I mean, it seems like hundreds of years ago, but it was back in the 1990s. And she was in that, this was actually the best selling girl group of all time. And they still hold that. And so you just have to, let's see if we can keep that on mute. Okay, we can keep, now we get Michelle's background noise. Okay, so, but she's done so many things with her hair. She's done wonderful things with her hair, but the most iconic, the most famous hairstyle was that short pixie look. And most people didn't know she really did not want that look when she got it. You know, she really, initially she wanted something to differentiate her. She wanted, everybody in the group wanted to have their own look, tested by their stylist for her to wear a short look. I mean, she has a great face for it. She could do it, but that was this look that she did. She wasn't really interested in. I think she was a little concerned about how she would look. I don't know, but she looked fabulous. If you remember, you go on and just kind of look at some of her older pictures. It was great. But what we want to talk about today is her rocking her natural hair. Now, when you look at her, most of the time, she's going to have the sewing, and she will admit that she's got the sewing. Okay, so we want to keep that in mind. But she was caught on the beach, I think that's what, and she was with her husband and I think another friend, and she had her over to her natural style, you know, because she has a plethora of styles, and since the 1990s, but that iconic pixie look was the #1. But now she will rock her when she's wearing her sewings. I think she wears more sewings than anything, but she will rock her natural look. And she was caught on the beach with her husband, and she had a hat on, but she had her sewing. She had her fro, not her sewing, excuse me. She had her fro. So there we go. That's a little bit of celebrity news. I think that many of the celebrities, and what I want to say to that, many of the celebrities are wearing their natural hair, but they're definitely holding that sew in, what they're calling protective styles, wigs. If you go and look at some of her looks, she's got a ton of looks, and yeah, I wanted to use her because, and I was really excited about her being our celebrity today. I try to do something with one celebrity every week because she kind of didn't get the credit that Beyonce did, but she was really, really talented. She is really, really talented. And so I just wanted to talk about her look. So when you get a chance, go take a look at her natural hair. It looks good. I think she keeps it about shoulder length, right on top of her shoulder. So it's pretty cool. Well, let's kind of get to the topic. We've got several things we could talk about, but I want to talk about sulfates because that's a big deal for a lot of people. So we have to, first let's talk about whether, now I titled the topic, sulfates, are they good or bad? Ask the hair doctor. I mean, some will say it's still a matter of opinion. But I mean, let's just be honest about sulfates. Sulfate is only one ingredient. And I think we've kind of tossed out two things I think that's been cleared up. I think we've tossed out the whole notion that it would cause cancer. Right? We know there's research that some folks are saying that's out there that says it will, but in reality, sulfates really, there's no research that I found that was really sound. And you can send me any links to any sound research that you have that will confirm this, that sulfate causes cancer. But I think we pretty much have ruled that out. You can email me, lisa@lisaakbari.com. But sulfates, the other thing we have to rule in and just admit that sulfates really help with our cleaning. Sulfates are basically cleansing agents, and they help to give the lather and the foam. And one thing that I did find with confirm this, that with the non-sulfate shampoos, you still have a percentage of cleansing agents in there. So you just can't get away with cleansing agents. You want to have them because you're basically cleaning the hair and scalp, you're lifting that dirt and debris. See, there are head and tail molecules within your shampoo, and those head and tail molecules will help your shampoo to take and lift that dirt and debris away. So when if you don't have cleansing agents, so you really kind of just have a conditioner. I know I'll get some emails, and I welcome those emails, and I welcome the debates. But sulfates are not going to hurt your hair nor scalp if they're used properly, and if you have what? This is the key, is the pH. Our hair is mostly composed of protein. Protein, a little bit moisture to keep it just a little bit flexible. Our scalp oozes out a substance called acid mantle. This is because, nothing solid like hair can really have a pH on its own. Well, acid mantle is a secretion from our sweat glands and our oil glands, and it gives our scalp, as well as our solid strand hair, a pH. Basically, what you want to take a look at and focus on, you want to focus on the pH of your shampoo, whatever you're cleaning with. Why is that? Because hair is just dead keratinized cells that have manifest, they're filled with keratin into a thread-like fiber called hair. And your goal is to protect and preserve that thread-like fiber and make it look alive. And I use my shampoos all the time, and I have that pH of 4.5 to 5.5, which is what the pH of the acid mantle is. If your shampoo in that range and it's a clarifying shampoo, you're going to be really safe. And I know some of you will not agree with me. But I'm a trichologist, and I basically look at strands under the microscope. That's what I do. Looking for problems with shampoos and conditioners and leave-in products. I'm looking for ways that I find that many women, men, and even with our children, ladies and men, we're bullying the hair into place. And so I'm looking for ways to help you to understand how to protect and preserve your hair. So with sulfates, what I found, if you can control them, they can be processed you have a pH that's mildly acidic, which is what our scalp and hair is, then you're going to have a better opportunity to actually be able to protect and preserve your hair. Because what happens when you have, let's talk about the pH scale, and why is pH so important? The pH scale the average values go from 0 to 14. So the average values. Let's see where your shampoos run. You remember for years, we talked about shampoos that you want a pH balanced shampoo. But when you look at the pH scale, balance is around 7. Now, our hair is 100 times more acidic in the opposite direction than 7. So what happens over a period of time, you end up with a pH that is going to be too high. So you're going to have some drying effects. Now, the reason why I'm pushing this is because several reasons. Number one, women of color, and this isn't all under the umbrella of my series of the struggles that Black women have with their hair. And more specifically, women who have transitioned to natural. But, for our sisters who are rocking their relaxers, that's cool too. But also for our sisters who have naturally straight hair, who are now wearing all these permanent waves and this bleach and color. Color is huge right now. And so we have to protect our hair. We have to find ways to protect and preserve our hair. So the foundation of it all is when we protect and preserve it in our cleansing process. Because the hair is super exposed when it's clean. That means whatever the state of health, And this is why it's crucial to get a clarifier. Whatever the state of health your hair is in happens and is revealed when you thoroughly clean it. Now, why is that important? Because when you thoroughly clean your hair, then you can go into the true protecting and preserve, because you know the state of health that it's in. So if your hair is weak, then you are able to balance that hair. You're able to say, okay, my hair is weak, or if it's dry, or if it's both, then you can add your deep conditioning with your protein and moisture. But if you are going around and co-washing or no pooing, and you're trying to stay away from really deep cleaning your strands and your scalp, then you're setting yourself up to have a barrier between your strand and all of these wonderful conditioners to balance your hair. The protein you need for strength, the moisture you need for hydration, which gives you that body and flexibility and wonderful soft feeling to your hair. You're not going to get that with a dirty head of hair. And it's like the chickens have come back to roost. You heard that I was saying. Well, what has happened with people who have co-washed for months and months and years, and it all depends on their hair and what they're actually using in their co-washing or no pooing, or if they're no pooing totally. They're now beginning to say, wow, my hair feels greasy, or I now have these flakes, or something's happening with my hair. It's not as nice as it was initially. Well, the reason why is because at this point, you now have a negative buildup. A negative buildup is where you have put all these conditioners on, wet your hair, put conditioner. When you do that, it gives you a benefit of softer hair initially, because it's short-lived, this whole process, softer hair. Then it gives you a more detangled hair, but then you block out the conditioners. So over a period of time, you build up in your cosmetics. So then you have cosmetic pollutants and you got this buildup. So you have to clarify each and every time so that you have an opportunity to make sure that your hair, okay, your hair is going to, each and every time, you're going to remove all the dust, dirt, and debris, all the pollutants, the cosmetic pollutants, the environmental pollutants, and even your dead skin cells, which are scalp pollutants. You got to make sure you remove those. And when you remove them, you have an opportunity at that point. You're ready now to really, really go in and do any repair work. You can do whatever you need to make sure that your hair is getting what it needs to do what you want it to do. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and we're here today talking about sulfates, good or bad. You're asking the hair doctor. And for the next 25 minutes or so, actually it's more than that, it's about 35 minutes, I'm going to chat with you. My chat line is open. You can chat at Lisa Akbari. Thank you so much, folks who are tuning in. It is a beautiful day, and I'm so thankful. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And I am so incredibly thankful for the opportunity to come here to speak with you and talk to you about sulfates, something as I thought was pretty much history. I thought it was not a big deal. I thought that sulfates were something in the past. People knew about sulfates and they didn't worry about them anymore, but we have still some folks with a few issues with it. So I want to periodically come back and kind of talk about sulfates, but they're basically cleansing agents and they help your shampoo to lather. And the key is to have the pH between 4.5 and 5.5 on your shampoo, so that you at that point can stay in a more acidic environment, just not disturb the basic pH chemistry of your hair. That's so crucial. And I think that we just need to keep that in mind. And as we do so, then we're going to have a better opportunity to have a shampoo that is going to cleanse our hair and is going to give us what we need, a clean slate, like a clean palette, so that we have an opportunity to have a put our conditioners in, give our hair what it needs, what it's asking for. So if you, my chat room, I've got some folks watching, but you guys are awfully quiet there. If you have a question for me, it can be about sulfates, or it may be about your hair. I'm here to answer whatever questions that you like to talk about as it relates to your hair and scalp. But remember, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari, and I'm your hair doctor. And we're going to take 30. We're going to talk about hair, and we're just leading the way with sulfates. We've talked about Kelly Rolland and her swing to natural, but we want to spend this time on sulfates because we have so many people who are afraid of them still and wonder. Now, if you don't have the cleansing agents, and we'll just call sulfates cleansing agents, then you're not going to be able to clean your hair. Now, it's kind of like going into a shower and saying, you know what, my skin's dry. So instead of really using soap, I'm going to use lotion. I'm going to hop right in that shower, and I'm just going to lotion myself down, and I'm going to rinse myself off. Okay, your skin will feel soft initially, but your skin will not, in fact, be clean. So everything else you put on is going to sit on top of what you left on. So you can't do that with your skin. Hair is just dead skin cells, just in a different form, keratinized, filled with this keratin. And by the way, keratin is protein, which is what the hair is mostly composed of. So you've got to protect and preserve it. So guys, don't be afraid of sulfates. Get your shampoos. I'm going to put a link up to my, let's see if I can get to my website, to my shampoo. It's called Cleansing, it's called Cleansing, Clarifying, and Balanced Shampoo. And basically what I do with my shampoo is I make sure I keep it clean, because that's important. You know, we have so many people who are using shampoos that are conditioning shampoos. Even if they say, well, I'm going to shampoo, they're using conditioning shampoos. They're using shampoos that are, let's see if you guys here, let me get it all. There we go. The conditioning shampoos, and you don't want that. You want shampoos that are pretty clean. Yeah, you can use some agents in there, but you want to make sure they're not fillers and that they rinse clean from the hair. So I'm going to put a link up to my Cleansing, Clarifying, and Balanced Shampoo. And you can go on my website at lisaakbari.com. So I'm going to put that link up. That way you'll have my shampoo, and you can just click on it. But if you go to my website and go to my front page and go to shop now, you'll be able to see my hair nutrition system. You know, years ago, Essence recommended my shampoo, Essence magazine. I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm going to give you a link to my online store. That way you can click on my products and my shampoo, and there's just lots there for you to take a look at. And I do a lot of things. I try and there we go, let me give you my own. And I try to do things that will help you. I don't want to promote my system, but I want to make sure that well, you know, I kind of sort of do, because years ago, I really didn't have products. I only had products that I only did things like, that's what it is, just the name of Cleansing, Clarifying, and Balanced Shampoo. I only just gave out knowledge. And I can remember people asking me, well, guys, what about you know, what shampoo? What about conditioners? What about, I had so many people to ask me that. And I realized I needed to start making products, because for years I worked with several companies, and I even worked back in my styling days. And before I became a trichologist, I was a stylist, and one of the things that I did was I tried to make sure the hair looked a certain way. I was more into the hair styling and not as into the hair care. But what I realized is that more people were having problems with their hair and their scalp, and they were more and more folks thought they had dandruff and all these problems. So what I was able to do was really blessed by getting with my chemist, praying about it, and coming up with a line of hair products. I'm not a chemist, but I do have a lab in my institute, and I dibble and dabble a little bit in my lab, and I love doing that. I do a lot, tons of research. And I do try to keep up with what's going on out there, but I like solid research. And I like to research and work with different companies. Like I recommend a vitamin, an oral vitamin that you could take to my patients. And I try to research folks who use less. They kind of work their own projects, and it's really fascinating. And I try to put that out there to you guys. So I love being challenged. So if you don't agree with or believe something that I've said, then let me know. Tell me and just challenge me, because that's really what this is all about. This is about getting the correct information in our hands as fast as we can and as well as we can. So guys, if you're just tuning in for the very first time, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor, and I'm here each and every week right here in the WDI studios and iHeart Radio. I'm so excited to be in with you guys and sharing my knowledge. And we have Michelle on Google Hangout, but she's at work. We're going to check with her and to see if she's able to chat with us. If she's got a question, she's over at my institute, and let's see if she's available. Looks like she is in there somewhere. So let's see if she's available, but she's not right now. But if you have a question, you're welcome to chat with me. You can go to my YouTube page at Lisa Akbari. It can be about this topic, sulfates, or it can be about whatever you like to talk about as it relates to your hair and scalp. I'm more than happy to answer your question, but I do want to make sure that we kind of get some good takeaways today, because I want to make sure that you leave more empowered than when you came into this show today. All right. So number one, sulfates, which we'll just say cleansing agents and foaming agents. We want to look at that formula. That's just one ingredient in a whole formula, whatever's happening with your product. We want to look at sulfates and cleansing agents. Where do we need to make sure that we have this in our shampoos? We need to do that, and we need to make sure that we have the pH of that shampoo when it's all formulated and it's made 4.5 to 5.5. That's going to give you an opportunity to have a mild cleansing agent. It will control the ingredients within your product. So when it hits your hair, when it touches your hair shaft and your scalp, dehydrate your hair and scalp. If your shampoos are mildly acidic, it will not cause disruption to your cuticle. That's your top layer. That's the layer that gives you shine. That layer gives you, it protects the cortex, which is the layer that is within the inner portion of your strand that corrects or determines your color. It determines the hair texture, the size of your strand. It helps to determine your hair type, the structure, whether you have straight hair or kinky hair. And you always want that area protected. Also, this in mind, it also holds your strength bonds. Your strength bonds are crucial because your strength bonds hold your hair together. So it's going to be very, very crucial that you have your strength bonds protected and preserved, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that your strength bonds are protected, because if not, your strands are just not going to, they're going to break. You're going to have they're going to break. Now, if your cortex is exposed, all kinds of things happen. Hair breaking, which I just mentioned that. You're also going to have problems with your actual hair being, your porosity being completely out of balance. That means you ever notice you put moisturizers on your hair and then a few minutes later it's dry? Well, that's a problem with porosity. You're not able to retain your moisture levels. They're not equal. So when your cuticle is damaged, you cannot equalize your porosity. Why is it important to have equal porosity? It's because you want to make sure that an equal porosity, that's going to give you a shinier, a softer, a stronger strand. Now, when your shampoos are high pH, it disturbs, or so sulfates are there, but the pH guy has to be balanced, 4.5 to 5.5. When your shampoos are in the proper pH, more acidic in reaction, like our hair and scalp, then you're going to have a tighter, more compact cuticle over your cortex, so your hair strand will be healthier, stronger. So are we concerned about the pH as much in other products? Yes and no. The number one is when your hair is the most exposed, which is when you're cleaning it, you need that pH to be 4.5 to 5.5. You can use your cleansing agents like sulfates, but you need to look at that tiny number on the back of that bottle, and you want to look for that pH. Once you find that pH, you need to make sure it's that number, 4.5 to 5.5. If it's not, call the manufacturer. Generally, they're willing to tell you what the pH of their shampoo is, and that's what you look for. Okay, guys? So we're no longer going to be afraid. That's our first takeaway of sulfates, and we're going to look for that pH. The second thing we want to do is we want to look at how we're applying our shampoos, making sure if they have the sulfate in it, making sure they have the pH, and we're making sure if we have a flaky scalp, we're applying them in a certain way. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we're using a pH 4.5 to 5.5 in a clarifier, because you want to put your hair to pure natural state. Once you put your hair to pure natural state, then you're not going to have as many problems with conditioning your hair or treating your scalp. So that's crucial. Pure natural state, clarify, pH 4.5 to 5.5. Now you're safe. Now you're going to make sure that you shampoo properly. If you have a flaky scalp, you can go on. You don't have to get a medicated shampoo unless you have a scalp disease and your doctor, your dermatologist has prescribed this. But if he has not, then you're good. You're good with having a shampoo, pH 4.5 to 5.5, clarifying shampoo, which will probably have some sulfates in it, but it's as long as that pH is within that range, because we mentioned sulfates are just basically cleansing agents, foaming agents. You just have to control how drying they are through the pH. Okay, all right, then you're ready to shampoo. You want to use your clarifiers in a applicator bottle, and you put them on the scalp, massaging them through. Though at that point, it's so important that you have cleansing agents, because what you want to do is lift the dirt and debris. Now, your shampoo has something called a head and tail molecule. That head and tail molecule is going to give you an opportunity to attract, or the shampoo, an opportunity to attract dirt, one part of it, and then the other part attracts water. Rubbing that together, that shampoo, and again, as long as it's clarified, 4.5 to 5.5, and it can have the sulfates, then it's going to lift away when you rinse away. So you're safe, guys. If you're just tuning in for the very, very first time, or if you're just tuning in every week, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari. You're here, doctor. And today I am talking to you about your hair and sulfates. Sulfates, good or bad? You're asking today. this beautiful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have Jackie Williams. Welcome, Jackie Williams. And she said correction hair thinning program. So is there a question about your hair thinning program, or do you need some corrections on a program on hair thinning? Just email me if you need some corrections. But do you have a question about hair thinning programs? I do have a hair thinning program, and I can put that link up. So Jackie Williams, if you have a question for me, please ask away, and we can definitely insert that into the show today. Even though we're talking about sulfates, we can definitely insert that. Well, if you're just tuning in again for the first time, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor. I'm here each and every week right here in the WDI studios and iHeartRadio. And so be sure to tune in with me. And today we're talking about sulfates. You know, guys, you can get that iHeart app and you can listen to me anywhere in the world or anywhere in the country. And that's what I love, my Facebook friends from all over. Thank you guys so much. And not just my Facebook, sorry, my YouTube subscribers. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show today. I know people have busy lives, but here is important. And definitely things with sulfate. Understanding sulfates are not going to hurt your hair. They're just basically cleansing agents. The only way that you will have a problem with them is if the pH is higher than the hair pH, which is the hair pH height is 5.5. Okay, 4.5 to 5.5. All right, we talked about that earlier. So if you're just tuning in, guys, make sure you listen to the super duper. Make sure you listen to the beginning, and then you'll hear more about some things I've said. And Jackie Williams said, I ordered your hair thinning program and I love it. Do you sell that number 3 scalp treatment only? Absolutely, Jackie, I do. And what Miss Jackie Williams is saying is that she went online and she ordered my program. I have programs. If you go on my website, lisaakbari.com, and I'm going to put that in there, lisaakbari.com, and then I'm going to send you, Jackie, a link. Lisa, you know, sometimes I can't multitask. I'm going to send you a link to my thinning hair program. Not thinning hair, but my link to my scalp treatment so that you'll have that. So it's lisaakbari.com, and that's my link to my website, guys. If you want to check out something, I put a link here. Let me get back to my website. I'm going to put a link here for my scalp treatment level 3, because Jackie Williams wants to purchase that a la carte by itself. And then I'm going to put a link to the page that will have all of my programs. Here we go. I'm going to put a link to programs there. And that way you can go and it'll be just, isn't it wonderful? I mean, you know, I was one of those late bloomers when it came to getting on internet and all those things. But I tell you, it's kind of one of those things you can't live with, you can't live without. But I will tell you this, it is totally, absolutely, positively convenient. So I want some feedback on my website too, guys. So I've had some good feedback already. What do you guys think? Do you think it's easy to navigate? And if it's something that you're not able to find, would you please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to really listen. This website is for you. I'll be more than happy to. There we go. There you go, Jackie. I put a link to my I think I did scalp treatment level 3. Yeah. So I'll be more than happy to adjust it, add some things. And so that's going to be important, because if I have this website and this website does not accommodate you, online store, I try to have a combination of things. I just don't want my website to be about selling products. I just want it to be about educating you, empowering you. And I'm a trichologist. I have a practice and I work with patients who are suffering from hair loss. I come online to give back. And I do these shows. I've got hundreds and hundreds of videos out here. And today we're talking about sulfates. And I think it's important for me to do that and share that because I view the strands under the microscope every day, or when I'm in my clinic and I practice, I view, obviously I'm not doing it right now, but I view the strands under the microscope. And I know how the ear responds to certain things. And I think one of the it's just not talked about enough. I think one of the things is, but it's so important, is how we clean our hair. Now we talk about not cleaning it, no poo. We talk about other things like, we talk about co-washing. And for those of you who don't know what that is, co-washing is where you, instead of using shampoos, every time you go into what you think is your cleaning, you're using conditioners. You're just kind of rinsing the conditioners through. And you may shampoo once a month or so. And then no poo is worse. I have to say that. No poo is when you just run conditioners through and you don't shampoo at all. And we've had shows on this. You know my take on it. I think it's wrong. I think it's an accident waiting to happen if you haven't already had problems with it. So it's one of those things where over a period of time, you will have this negative buildup. And you will want to reach for anything with sulfate, or you'll want to reach for things that clean. And let me tell you something that people are doing. A lot of folks are using apple cider vinegar, and that's, we've already done a show on that. And my take on it is wrong because the pH is way too low. So you end up dehydrating your hair. So you just got to really look at, how do we clean? We clean just like we clean our body. It's just keratinized cells. We're trying to protect and preserve them. We're not trying to dry them out. We've ruled out sulfate causing cancer. It doesn't cause cancer. Sulfates don't, the ingredient, the raw material itself can irritate. But if you have a formula where it's blended properly and you have the pH under control, we tend to not have problems with it. Now, when we talk about irritating our eyes, we can have problems with our eyes becoming irritated through this whole process of our shampoos. Our eyes can be irritated, but we're not shampooing eyes, guys. Hey, come on, we're grown, we're adults. Get in the shower, get that nice, tilt that head back, get a nice good water force, and make sure that you are shampooing your hair and scalp. Now we're talking about your scalp. It's an applicator bottle, so you can get right into a flaky spot. If you have a problem with your shampoos really, really getting into your scalp, then it's going to be crucial. Let's see if you can use your applicator bottle. Okay, let's see if we can let Michelle in on it. It looks like she's here. Let's see. Do we want to? Michelle, hi Michelle. Do you have a question for me? Hi there.
Well,
Talk about sulfates today. So do you have a question for us?
yes. Well, I don't know if this is similar to what we're talking about, but I do have clients who come in, and this is a little bit off of that, but clients who come in and want to know that, is using a sulfur product better for your hair? When you come down to scalp damages, like the old-time sulfate products that they have out on the market, and is that good for the hair to help with damages?
Well, you mean on your scalp?
Yes, to like oil the scalp with, or to help the hair grow. I think they have a myth, and that about things like that. So people do come in and ask that kind of question as well.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that for a minute. Sulfur 8 has got some antifungal, anti-itch ingredients in it that will help to make the scalp feel better. But the research, I did a study on called Scalp and Skin. And one of the things that I found is that sulfur 8 is just not a clean product. So over a period of time, you get that buildup on the scalp and the hair. Now, it smelled horrible, but they now have the unscented ones, and they've had them for several years. But that's really important. No, we do not want to use this product because it is going to cause a problem with a negative buildup. What happens when you use really dense, heavy products on here, or products that I call are not clean, in other words, it's not water soluble, but you can have some products that are not water soluble, but that'll break down well. It will eventually break down in water because they don't have all these other fillers in them. But when you get to your products that are in your grease family, you want to look for oils. You want to look for products that when you put them on the back of your hand, you get a nice shine, but you don't get that heavy, sticky, greasy feel. And that's going to be friendly to your hair and your scalp. But what happened with all these products out there would cause a sticky, heavy buildup period of time again to solidify against the skin, and it'll be like a wax floor. And especially cases where individuals are using these types of oils or grease products, and they're not using clarifying shampoos, so that would just kind of stick to the scalp. So you would have this buildup, and when you have that up, it will cause all kinds. Oh my goodness, it would cause an itchy sound because it would get into creases of the and dilate that follicle, and your receptors would respond, and you would have itchy. Also, it would create a blockage. It takes to develop, but it would create a blockage around the mouth of the follicle, which causes a form of alopecia. And some say that couldn't happen because nothing stops it. But now I beg to differ. My study shows me that if you're using heavy products that are not clean and you're clarifying like you should, over a period of time, of itchy, flaky, or tender scalp, you could be in thinning is developing. You could be developing a type of alopecia I coined as follicular epidermis alopecia. And so the sulfate shampoos will help, or when I say sulfate, the cleansing should help to build up. So what happens is, on the actual size of the strand, the texture deals with size, and how dense they become, and they become more dense over the years. It's an aging process, blocks the scalp, and once it does that, scalp pores, then depending on how dense the substance has solidified and the texture of your strand will be the determining factor. Determine whether your strand can emerge from the follicle or becomes blocked. When I view strands under the microscope, that's one of the things I look for. I look for blockages. I look to see the hairs per numbers. If we have this Christmas tree part where you've got these little openings there and you're thinking, I think I'm thinning. If you have these holes, these little, I call them AA type spots where alopecia area, they look like it, but they may or may not be. Not every pattern is actually the pattern of that hair loss, like male pattern and alopecia areata. Sometimes it's just these blockages. So I look closer once I check that density and see that the hairs per square inch are not consistent. Then I look further to see why. Sometimes it's an external issue and sometimes it's an internal. External meaning it's blockages because of all of these products. Michelle asked about this grease that you put on that feels good, but it causes problems later on, short-term results. Or if it's an internal follicular issue where we see the villus hairs and we know that we need to bring in an endocrinologist or a dermatologist or someone else that can help us to diagnose what's happening internally, or your primary care physician that can help with those types of diagnoses. So yes, Michelle, just to answer your question, you can use these and they feel good to the scalp, but it's short-lived. So what happens, it does cause a buildup. And at that point, you will want a clarifying shampoo. And generally, you're going to find that your shampoos have cleansing agents. We try to use the natural cleansing agents, and we try to stay away from sulfates because people are so incredibly afraid of them. But that's changing. I think we're realizing that you're going to have cleansing agents to clean, realizing that it's not that big of a deal as long as you can stay with you. What makes it a big deal? It's just if you don't stay away or stay with the pH of your hair and scalp, which is 4.5 to 5.5. So thank you, Michelle, so much for that question. My chat room is uber quiet today. I'm shocked and amazed because you guys usually throw those questions out at me. All right, so if you are just tuning in for the very first time, or you're catching me on tail end of the show, because we're about to close out, I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari. And for the next few minutes, I'm going to be your hair doctor. And I'm here each and every week. If you missed the show today, you can tune in next week, or you can look on my YouTube page. Subscribe to my YouTube page because my show is archived. I save it. That's right. I do. Because I want you to be able to go back and look at it. And today was a good show. Kelly Rolland and her transition to natural hair. And she wears her added hair. So remember, most of the time she's got that sewing in. But when she's feeling fancy free, she likes to show it. And that's just how it is. I wear my natural hair every day, all day. But some people only want to wear their natural hair when they are, or if they're at home or whatever. I don't know the reason, but that's them. It's their prerogative. And then we talked about sulfates, good or bad. You did ask the hair doctor, and I did answer. I'm Trichologist Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor. And as I said, we're here each and every week right here in the WDIA studios and iHeart Radio. And I'd like for you to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. I have several Facebook pages. I have my World Trichology Institute, my own personal page, my Facebook page, which I have so much fun with my Facebook friends. And I have my Twitter page. I have my natural hair. We have our natural hair salon. If you're here in Memphis, come and have one of our wellness treatments. You will love it. Your scalp will love it. And also we have our hydrating spa. Hair and scalp spa treatments. Wonderful, wonderful. We're going to be talking about that more in the future. And if you have hair loss, if you're suffering from hair and scalp problems and it's chronic, come and see me. I will partner with you and your dermatologist and help you to get through this. There's so many reasons why it's here. And I can tell you right away, we can find the reasons. No worries. All right? All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love you. Enjoy this beautiful day. Enjoy your week. God is good all the time. To God be the glory in Jesus. Again, thank you so much. And I'll see you next week right here as you ask the hair doctor. And we talk about whatever you want to talk about, but it's going to be about hair. But we're going to continue to talk about our whole series of the struggle women have with their hair. No, I'm not letting up on that yet because we still have struggles. Thank you so much, Michelle, for a busy day. She's got 15 arms over there juggling everything. So thank you so much, Michelle, for tuning in.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Well, I'm out of here. Like I said, enjoy your beautiful day. To God be the glory in Jesus. I'll see you next week right here live in the WDIA studios and iHeart Radio. Have a wonderful, blessed morning, evening, or afternoon. Depends on when you're tuning in. All right.